This is question 21. It's the last question on the paper, and it's a question about ratios. And in the first part, we've got this equation 5c plus d equals c plus 4d, and we've got to find it in the ratio c to d, or find the ratio c to d. The easiest way I find to do these is the ratio c to d can actually be expressed as a fraction, c over d. So if I can rearrange this equation so that I've got c over d, then the fraction will be the same as the ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just collect up terms first of all. So I'm going to get the c's on the left, I'm going to get the d's on the right. So I can see that I could take away c from both sides. So I'd end up with 4c plus d equals 4d. Then I can take away the d from the both sides, and I'll end up with 4c equals 3d. And then it's not always obvious what the actual ratio is when it's written like that. But if I rearrange that, so I'm going to divide the c by the d, and I'm going to get c over d, and I'm going to divide by the 4, so I'm going to get is equal to 3 over 4. So just swapping the sides. So from that, we can say that c to d is actually 3 to 4. This second part is a bit more tricky. It's a quadratic form, but we've still got to find the ratio of x to y. So I'm going to follow the same thing that we would usually do with a quadratic, which is making it equal to 0. So if I do that, I can take the 7xy over to the other side of the equals, and it's going to become negative. So 7xy. And then I'm going to take the 20y squared over as well, and that's going to become minus 20y squared. And now it's all equal to 0. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use that method where I'm going to split the middle term so that I can eventually get it into two brackets like that. So to split the middle term, what I'm looking for is two numbers which will multiply to make the product of the first and last. So our first and last there, if I multiply them together, is 6 times negative 20y squared, which would give me minus 120y squared. And I'm also looking for two numbers which have a sum which is equal to the middle coefficient there, which is minus 7y. So I'm looking for two numbers which add to make negative 7y and multiply to make 120y squared. And after a bit of trial and error, we can see that minus 15y times by 8y would give us the top one, would give us minus 120y squared. And if we were to add those together, minus 15y plus 8y would also give us the one that we required them to add to. So it would also give us the minus 7y. So the purpose of doing that is we're going to split this middle term here into minus 15y and 8y. So we're going to rewrite this quadratic as minus 15y x and then plus 8yx minus 20y squared equals 0. So then what we do is we factorise both parts. So we draw a wiggly line like that, splitting it into two halves, factorise both parts. So if we factorise the first half, we can see that we could take out 3x, and in the bracket we'd need to have 2x minus 5y. So that's the first half done. We're going to similar approach the second half. Common factor of the second half is 4y. And then in the bracket, we would need 2x minus 5y. Now we can bring them together. So we can see we've got a common bracket there. And we've put the 3x and the 4y into another bracket. So we can see that the factorised version of our expression at the top is 3x plus 4y. And then 2x minus 5y. And that's still equal to 0. And then from that, we can now find x in terms of y, so we can get a little equation from each one of these brackets. So we can see that from the first one we'd have to have 3x plus y plus 4y equals 0, and that would give me that 3x is equal to minus 4y, and if I use the same approach as before, I'd get that x over y is equal to minus 4/3. Now it tells us that both x and y are greater than 0, so we can't have that because we can discount that one, since x and y are both greater than 0. So we're going to look at the second bracket there, and we've got 2x minus 5y would have to equal 0, because as with all quadratics, the solution comes from making the bracket equal 0. So 2x minus 5 equals 0. So then if I rearrange that, I've got 2x equals 5y, and then I could rearrange that further and I'd get that x over y equals 5/2. We've done it now really, because we can see that the ratio x to y is actually equal to 5/2. So that's that one done. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and if it has, please consider subscribing to our channel and also giving our video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.